Well, welcome to Life After Sport. As you know, most of you that are returning, this is an annual event that we do. We've changed it up just a little bit this year in case it was getting stale, but I will say we're always looking for your feedback. So if there are things you'd like to see differently out of this program that we can do better, please let us know. You can filter that through your SAC reps, or you can let your coach know, or you can let me know, whatever have you. But the one thing you'll see that's gone is the food, and I don't know how that will go over. But hopefully you're enjoying, if maybe your first ever Niagara University padfolio. What about that? Is that good? Yeah? Woo-woo? All right, good. Stocked full of information. I want to thank Tina Johnston from our Career Services office. She worked really hard to get those padfolios ready for you, and their group stuffed them. So thank you so much to the Career Services offices. Also Stephanie Morris, who you'll be hearing from later, and Mike Skoronsky. They worked extremely hard on putting this together. You know, like I said, there was a change in the program for this year, but what we want you to hopefully realize out of this is that there is life after being a student athlete at Niagara. We truly hope these are the 4 best years of your life, but we also hope that you're developing during your time here to go on and be successful out there in what many people call the real world. Today we have 2 former Purple Eagles who have gone out there and been successful, and I'm really excited and I'm really proud to present Jessica Kemp and Marshall Wingate to you. In addition to Jessica and Marshall, we have Michelle Granieri from our Health Services Office and Mental Health Counseling, and she's going to introduce a very exciting new initiative that we have going that is born out of feedback that we've gotten from the student athlete population both here and nationally. And then also Stephanie Morris from Career Services, who's going to talk to you about the Pathway Program, which is a really great resource. And if you don't take advantage of it during your years here at Niagara, shame on you, because it's something that will set you up for success in the future. So at this time, we'd like to get into our program, and I'm very excited to bring up a 2004 graduate, a women's basketball student athlete, current vice chair of our board of advisors, a Niagara University Hall of Fame member, a member of the MAC Basketball Honor Roll. Her name is in the National Basketball Hall of Fame, and a partner at Kemp Financial Services. How about a round of applause for Ms. Jessica Kemp?
All right, everyone. Thanks for having me today. Or actually, thanks for showing up. Although I think you had to show up, right? Okay, but you have to listen. I'm making you guys listen. I like to walk around, but it's okay. We'll leave this here. Okay, we're going to start off with the winner of the competition that we did. Everyone participated, right? Hands up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Right, so we did a matching. So my company did a matching thing for you guys. Sort of, I wanted to make it a competition because I know you guys love to compete. So my company matched $3,000 to the team that raised the most amount of money. And the winner is women's lacrosse. So I have the check here. So I would like the captains to come up to receive the check. So we're gonna do this every year, right? Simon, I think this was fun. Okay, so next year, you guys try to beat the women's lacrosse team. Congrats. What's your name?
Haley.
Haley. Congrats.
Hi, Rachel.
Rachel, congrats. Okay, so let me come down here. This is easier. Can we get a photo? Okay, so you guys take that. I know what you're going to do with it. You can't bring that to the bank. Okay. Okay. Congratulations, ladies. Great job. Okay, so guys, I've been asked to come here today to talk to you kind of on the same level, because I was where you guys are not too long ago, okay? So I was a student athlete, I was a bit overwhelmed, didn't know what I wanted to do with my career after sport, but all I did know is that I wanted to be the best at what I could be. And I'm assuming everybody in this room is at the same mindset here. I wouldn't be able to give this talk to the people downstairs who are non-athletes. We just don't think on the same level. So what I want to do is say to you guys, take advantage of the fact that you are athletes, especially going into your career and also being here on campus. You guys have a step up over any other student on this campus. And I can say that because I hire people all the time, and the first thing I ask is, did you ever play a sport? Have you ever been an athlete? Okay, we have, and I say we because we're all in this together, we have drive, we have self-motivation, we know what it's like to get up at 6 a.m. and work our butts off because, let's face it guys, you guys are here as a Division I athlete, that's a big deal. So when you get out into the workforce, you guys have to use that to your advantage, okay? You put some swagger in your step, especially when you're looking to apply for a job, regardless of the industry. I'm gonna talk a bit about my industry, and that's finance, but regardless of the industry, okay? If you guys walk in there knowing you're a step above the next guy beside you in that interview just because you're an athlete, it'll help you guys moving forward with the interview, of course. But I'm going to talk about why I've had success, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's absolutely because of my time here at Niagara. Maybe you can tell or maybe you can't my accent. I am Canadian, so I just live just over the border in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Canadians in the room, tons, I'm sure. Hockey guys? Okay. So we have a different mentality. I think we're a little bit more laid back. So coming over here with my American friends and my American teammates, I learned so much, especially being an athlete. So I took that into my career now. I was #1 in Canada for what I did, again, because I was a student athlete. Right now, my brother and I run a very successful practice in Niagara, all because we were student athletes, okay? My brother also played baseball and basketball. So I'm going to tell you guys 3 things, okay? This is what I think you guys should remember. Regardless of the industry that you choose, regardless if you're a freshman or you're a senior, okay? You guys need to have a good attitude. Your coaches are going to tell you this, and I'm sure you don't want to hear it from your coaches. I'm telling you guys this. Because if you want to be successful, if you want to make lots of money, if you want to run your own business, you have to have a good attitude. Your attitude will kill you in life if it's a bad one. Okay? So #1, have a good attitude. Okay? So and again, I talk about being present. So whatever you choose, if you're going to class, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, if you're with your family, or you're on the basketball court or on the lacrosse field, be present in what you're doing. You've chosen to be there for that 3 hours. Give it your 100%. And again, I have a little bit of a competitive, of course, passionate attitude, but that's what's gotten me up here. And because you guys are here right now, I'm assuming you all want to be up here. So have a good attitude. The next thing is find passion in what you're doing. And if you're not passionate about it, stop doing it. So if you're going to show up at the basketball court for practice and you don't have passion to get out there and score as many points and get as many rebounds or give it 100%, don't do it. Tell your coaches, I'm done, I don't want to be here anymore. Okay? So anything you guys choose to do, you have to do it with passion. Okay? And the third thing is that I believe, and again, what has brought me here to where I am today in my career and in my personal life and everything, is having confidence in what you do. Have confidence, and with confidence, with a good attitude, gives you guys confidence, okay? So what else gives you confidence? Looking good. I mean, these girls in the front, look at how good you guys look. So how confident did you feel walking out of the dorm room today dressed like that, as opposed to in your hoodie and your sweatpants? Looking good and being dressed up gives you guys confidence, okay? With confidence gives a good attitude. And you're not gonna have confidence or good attitude if you're not doing something you're passionate about. Okay, so those are the 3 things I would say to you guys. If you can take that away, again, from being a freshman or being a senior going into your respective careers, do everything that you can at 100%, have passion in what you're doing, and have confidence in what you're doing. And be present. If you're choosing to be there, okay? I know it's hard right now because we all have cell phones, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm kind of a millennial still, so I get it. I'm on my phone too. But try your best to put that aside and wherever you are, to be present in what you're doing. Simon asked me to talk a little bit about finance because that's the industry that I'm in. And I think that the one thing that scared me from leaving Niagara is we didn't learn about real life finances or how to save money or how to get a mortgage, stuff like that when we leave university. So What I'm going to tell you guys to do is, for my seniors, in your respective cities, wherever you guys go to get your jobs or your careers, find a financial advisor in your area and have a meeting with them and just ask them questions, simple questions about life and how to save money, how to save for, I know it sounds crazy, the term retirement, but long-term savings, stuff like that is so important to do at a young age when you guys are starting in your career. And again, that's the industry that I'm in. And again, I'm in the industry of finance for sure, but my business is solely driven by the passion that I have for what I do, the amount of people that I meet, because the more people that I meet, the more clients that I get, and the more money that I make, and the more successful that I get. And to me, that's awesome. So, I mean, when you're going into your respective careers, and I've said this, just make sure you guys have passion. And I absolutely love what I do, and that's what helps me. But again, it started from being here, playing basketball for 4 years, and it set me this much higher than everybody else that's downstairs that aren't student athletes. I think that's all I wanted to address today, guys, but I think the last thing I'm just gonna say is choose what you wanna do, be present in what you're doing, and have passion in what you do. Thanks for having me here today.
So one of the reasons we gave out the padfolios today was so that you could take notes. Claire Wanzer, congratulations, I saw you taking notes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jessica, thank you so much for that talk. Right. So you'll also notice one of the things we've changed is we did have the employers that would come in the past year so that you can meet with them. Our speakers are going to stay around after the program today, so I would encourage you to spend some time getting to know them, maybe asking questions that came up as you were listening to them talk. Okay, so thank you very much for sticking around. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Marshall Wingate. Marshall's a 1972 graduate of Niagara. He played on the first ever NCAA men's basketball tournament team. He's a member of the Niagara Hall of Fame. He's also a member of the MAC Basketball Honor Roll. His name is in the Basketball Hall of Fame in the MAC exhibit, along with Jessica. He's a former board of advisor of Niagara University and also a very successful business executive in Buffalo with Dynacom and National Fuel. Help me welcome Marshall Wingate.
The toughest thing I have to do today is to speak just for 10 minutes. And I say that because I arrived here, right at that circle, in August of 1968. None of you were born. I left New York. I'm a New Yorker, okay? I left New York, a highly, highly recruited basketball player. Could have gone any place in this country. So in my room, I had this picture of the United States with stick pins all the way around it. And one day my dad came into my room and he said, "What's that?" And I said, "Daddy, that's a picture of the United States." He said, "Say something stupid like that again and you'll be sorry." I said, "Those are stick pins of schools that have recruited me and I'm going to visit them." He said, "Do you have any intentions of going to these schools?" I said, "No, Daddy, I want to see the country and I want to see the girls." He said, "Obviously I didn't raise you properly, so I'm going to select your school." And I looked at him and I said, "Wait a minute, I'm thinking of all the places I could have gone, and Daddy's going to select my school." So months later, I walk into my living room, I see Frank Layden, my high school coach, and my mom and dad shaking hands. And I'm looking and I said, "Well, what's going on here?" And he said, "You're going to Niagara." And I said, "Where is Niagara?" And he said, "You're going to Niagara." And it's one of these things, "Yes, sir, I'm going to Niagara." So I got here in August of '68, and in October, I get a phone call while I'm on the court, and college coach says to me, Frank Layden, he says, "You got to go home." I said, "What am I going home for?" He said, "Your father's sick." And I said, "What do you mean? What's wrong with Daddy?" He says, "Go." So he took me to the airport here in Buffalo and flew down to New York. And I'll never forget, I was flying down the Hudson River, and I was looking off the starboard side of the plane, and the sky was as red as blood. And I said, "Daddy's going to die." So we landed, and I went to the Veterans Hospital, and I saw my father in the bed. And I said, "Oh my God," I didn't say that to him, but I could tell that he was not going to be with me a long time. And he passed 2 days after I arrived there of cancer. I didn't know that when he sent me off to college, he told Frank Layden that he only had 6 months to live. and would he take care of his 2 sons. My brother went here also. And I was devastated. I came back, and the team just embraced me. I played on arguably 2 of the greatest teams the school has ever played on. My sophomore year, we went to the quarterfinals of the NCAA, and that's when they were only choosing 32 teams. My senior year, we went to the finals of the NIT. And I can still walk on this campus today, and people remember when I played. I can look out in the vestibule here, and you can see pictures of me, of some of my teammates playing there. And this is a home for me. So a year and a half after that, I get another call that I have to go back to New York. My mother's sick. I go home, my mother dies. So when I was here, I lost my mother and father. And ironically, both deaths, priests here flew to New York and attended both funerals. There's nothing that I could say bad about this university because it's a part of me. I have seen things here that have blessed me. I met my wife here. My greatest success is being married to this woman for 48 years. And I love her like nobody's business. And I met her here, okay? So I say those things because Niagara taught me certain things. The greatest thing I learned was never look at failure as a failure. To be successful, you must experience failure. I use the term setback. You have to do that. Some of the greatest things that I've achieved has been because I had setbacks. I have sat down an hour and a half with Donald Trump, met Barack Obama, flew on the presidential helicopter, been in the Pentagon with Secretary of Defense. I have seen things that very few people in this country will see. I was prepared to deal with those things because of my education here. I remember the first speech I ever gave. It was at a boys' club, downtown Niagara Falls. I was a freshman going to my sophomore year. I was so petrified of standing up in front of one of these things. And a state senator, Lloyd Patterson, who was a great alum of this school, we were at this father-son breakfast, and I'm sitting at the dais with him, and he's speaking to, a couple hundred people, and he says, you know what, before I say anything, I want Marshall Wingate to come up and speak. When I heard my name, I couldn't even move. And the guys on the team, they looked at me and they said, Marsh, get up and talk. I said, I can't move. My hands were locked to the table. And I get up to the podium and I bang my mouth on the microphone. I can tell you the remorse I got by going back to the gym here and how the guys were laughing at me, how I spoke. And one of the things that we had a rule here was to take a public speaking course. And the late Dorothy Gould, who was a prof here, she taught me how to stand here and feel as comfortable as I was sitting out there. One of the things I would say to you, learn the language. Learn how to stand up here and feel just as comfortable as you're sitting back there. The second thing, as I said, embrace setback/failure. All of you are athletes, and I don't think anyone here, and what your respective sports are, you've won every game. Every one of you have lost. Every one of you have had setbacks in your sport. And what did you do? The next day you showed up to practice. There is nothing greater than winning, but you cannot win unless you have lost. And the final thing is your honor, your word, respect. My dad died when I was 18 years old. I still fold my clothes. I line up my closet the way Daddy taught me. My mother was so affectionate that she would hug and kiss me, take me to school every day, and she'd meet me after school. And this is when I'm a senior in high school, okay? She'd come to school and I'd say, Mom, stop that. But she taught me how to be affectionate. She taught me how to speak in a certain manner that respect follows you. This is a place that Niagara University is a well-respected institution. Do nothing to soil that representation. This is some place that you have people sitting next to you. Look at the person next to you. Every one of you went through an exhaustive application process. Every one of you did decently in your SAT scores, and you were around very intelligent people. I assure you, when you get out of here, the person that's sitting next to you on a subway or on a bus is not going to have, as a rule, the education and the knowledge that you have sitting right next to you. This university has a listing of profs, professors, priests, board members, and I can assure you, 90% of you in this room have no idea who's on the board of Niagara. You don't know who your profs are. And I don't mean by just say, hello, Mr. Jones, Miss Jones. I'm saying where they went to school. You don't have any idea of alumni. You have so much information at your disposal, and you're walking through this place trying to get good scores on your tests, but you're not preparing yourself when you're out of here and there's no prof in front of you. There's a wonderful statement in Proverbs. It says, "The beauty of a young man is his strength. The glory of an old man is his gray hair." Think of that. What that saying is, people with this, those are the ones that you should be asking information. Those are the ones that you should be wrapping your arms around, asking for help. But instead, what most of you will do is go to someone your age asking for help. That might work, but look for the person with gray hair. Look for the person with years and years of experience behind them, and utilize that. In closing, I wish all of you the luck that I have had. I wish all of you the blessings that I have. And remember, enjoy this place for the 4 years that you have it. Thank you.
Marshall, it's people with gray hair or no hair, right? They can be helpful. They can be helpful too. So Marshall scored a lot of points in this building, and Jessica ripped down a lot of rebounds in this building, but that's not why they were speaking to you today. They didn't come here because they played men's and women's basketball at Niagara. They came here because they're student athletes, and they became incredibly successful in life because of their time on this campus. Part of it was what happened in this building when they were lifting weights and getting better in their craft. But most of it's because of the type of people that they are, and we can't thank you two enough for being here today. How about another round of applause? So when I meet with my peers and colleagues around the country, one of the things that is becoming more and more prevalent is mental health. And I know there are people in here who have encountered it. It could be you, it could be your friend. It's something that is becoming more and more a part of who we are in our daily lives. And it's something we need to pay more and more attention to. You know, one of the goals that we had with SAC this year was to break stigma, raise awareness, and make sure we had information out. Well, we're taking another step in that this next year, and we're working more closely with our mental health counseling department, and we're bringing somebody on part-time, but that will have dedicated time in our department to be with our student athlete population. And the idea is, this is someone who's going to be totally embraced in the fabric of our department. Okay, not somebody that's off in a building where you never go, or a place where you never see, but it's someone that you can go to just as you go see our athletic trainers, or just as you go see your coach, right? Someone who understands the demands that you're under, the pressure, and the lives that you're living. And I can't be more happy and more thankful to Adrienne Kasbaum, who's with us today, for her leadership on this campus and her leadership in this initiative. And it gives me great pleasure at this time to introduce our mental health counselor, the student athlete liaison, Michelle Granieri, to introduce the program.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me this evening. I'm extremely honored and humbled to have been given the opportunity to expand my duties into the athletics department. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and so my primary role is to collaborate with you to strategize how to best foster healthy well-being as an athlete, a student, and a young adult. As this new role is given the time and attention to blossom, there will be new avenues and opportunities available to you, and I would just like to highlight a few of those things for you. As you are already well aware, you juggle multiple roles on a daily basis, being an athlete, being a student, and being a young adult. All of these areas of your life can be divided even more so to define you each individually as you navigate your years here at Niagara. At times, this juggling act may be exhausting, stressful, overwhelming, and uncomfortable, or any combination of any of these emotions. My hope is to be able to provide those in need with appropriate tools and resources to overcome these obstacles. In counseling, there's no issue too big or too small to bring to the table. And in the end, you each are learning and exploring how to navigate through life. As athletes, there are additional responsibilities that you face through your season and during your off season, such as practices, sometimes multiple times a day, games, traveling, managing injuries, team bonding, attending classes, completing assignments, studying, and trying to maintain a social life. There's no expectation that one person is able to effectively master all of these responsibilities at once. Through the utilization of counseling, you're able to have a confidential, safe, and non-judgmental space to organize your thoughts and strategize how to best manage these stressors. My hope is to become an additional part of your team, a support that you can rely on when you need. No one goes through life alone, and the most successful people learn how to effectively use resources in front of them. Each of you here with me tonight have plenty of life skills that you have developed solely from being an elite athlete. I turn my attention now to the graduating seniors to highlight some of these important skills to take with you as your journey here at Niagara comes to an end. First and foremost, congratulations to you all on such an incredible achievement. As you transition out of the student-athlete life, it is worthwhile to reflect on accomplishments you have achieved that will continue paving your pathway into the next areas of your life. A few of these include developing effective time management, making and following through with commitment, being a team player, obtaining individual achievement while contributing to an overall group, building and learning resilience, and developing a routine to maintain health and wellness in your lifestyle. These are all translatable life skills to take with you wherever you go. And it's important to acknowledge the normalcy of feeling some grief and loss around this chapter of your experience coming to an end. Perhaps there's an awkwardness of wondering what to do now that you are no longer participating in a program that has probably defined who you are for as long as you can remember. Using some of the skills previously mentioned, I challenge you to look for opportunities to maintain this important aspect of your life moving forward. As student athletes, you've already developed and mastered many life skills that will follow you into the next chapter of your journey. Make sure that you take time to reflect on all you've accomplished over these last few years, as all of your experience have helped shape who you are today and who you will become in the future. With this new position, I'm coming into uncharted territory, and I'm open and flexible to see what can be developed through collaboration with any and all of you here tonight. My purpose is to serve you and to help meet your mental health needs. If you have questions, suggestions, or are just curious about this new development, please feel free to approach me and to engage in your thoughts, ideas, or strategies. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting with you and working with you in the coming weeks.
Thank you, Michelle. So some of the things we're talking about, one-on-one conversations, group conversations, team building, team programming. It could be, it's not just crisis. That'll be part of what we're dealing with, but it's also being proactive and looking at ways to enhance your performance in academics or in athletics. So we're really, really excited to get this initiative underway. And any feedback that you have, again, we would look forward to hearing that. As we said, for this program, we collaborate with Career Services, and they're an incredibly helpful partner, and they have been since I've been here. But the new direction of this campus, I think their role is elevated even more, and that's very, very exciting, and it should be exciting for you. You know, as I said earlier, I really encourage you to take advantage of the services that you have here during your time, especially as you look to transition out into the job market. But there are skills that you can develop all 4 years while you're here, and that's what's so exciting about the Pathway program. So please help me welcome Stephanie Morris, the Director of Career Services.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to have a couple minutes to speak with all of you. In the Padfolios that we provided to you, there's a program in there that goes into great detail about what our Pathways program is. For many people, when they think of career services and what our role is, oftentimes students wait until maybe their senior year to come and engage with us. And what we've realized is that the earlier that you engage with us, and it's never too early, the more prepared that you feel when it comes time for graduation. So whether your choice is to go on to get a job or you're choosing to go on to graduate school, there are certainly things that you should be doing along the time that you're here to help you to feel better prepared for that. So we've put together the Pathways program, which is a 4-year process or 4-step process. It is flexible enough that if you're a first-year student and with the year coming to an end, you haven't come to see us yet, not a big deal. Come and see us next year when you return to campus. And within this program, in these 4 steps, there's opportunity for you to gain a better understanding of what your skill set is and what it is that you would like to present to employers and to graduate schools. It gives you an opportunity to kind of explore different careers that are out there. So you may think you know what you want to do, and we hear that a lot, but maybe you haven't really put in some of the legwork to figure out what does that job actually entail? What are the skills that I would need? What are the education, the additional education that I might need? Through this program, we have an opportunity for you to connect to the alumni network. It also sets the pace for finding internships. And then hopefully by the end of the process, you will have a more clear plan of what it is that you want to do upon graduation. So when we talk to employers, and every year we bring about 300 employers come to this campus to recruit all of you. So they're looking to hire for part-time, full-time internship opportunities. For a campus this size, that's a huge number. And for some of you that had an opportunity to come to Career Expo, which was just a few weeks ago, we had 118 employers coming on campus to hire NU students. And so oftentimes, people might question, how do you get so many employers to your campus? Well, we get this many employers because of students like all of you. So when employers talk to us and they say, we want access to your athletes, and I myself was not an athlete, and I'll say, well, what is it about the athletes? And it is a lot of what Jessica was saying. It's the drive, it's the passion, it's the confidence that you all have, it's the communication, it's the leadership skills. These are all things that you are able to exploit through the process, and exploit in a very good way. And so we can work with you to help you develop these interviewing skills where you can really relate back to what it is you have learned through your sport and help you to best present yourself to those employers. And then Marcia was talking about that you have to be able to speak the language, right? Well, careers and occupations have language also. And so yes, respect is important. It's important if you're offered a position, how do you accept it the appropriate way? How do you decline it the appropriate way? And when you're looking for opportunities, setbacks are always going to happen, but we can always learn from them. So you're not alone in this journey. Career Services is always here to help you along the way. If you're kind of struggling, maybe you're someone that has a couple of different offers. Or maybe you keep going on these interviews and you're having these setbacks and you're not quite getting to where you want to be. Don't feel as if you are alone. Use the resources that are available to you, our office being one of them, and we can always help to set you up and do practice interviews with employers. We can take a look at your resume, lots of different ways that we can assist you. So to the seniors, congratulations. I know you're graduating here in a couple of weeks. To the underclassmen, we look forward to continuing to engage with you, and we'll be around if there's anything that we can do or answer any questions. Please let us know. Thank you.
All right, that was it. Streamlined. Pretty easy, right? Easy in that it was easy enough to sit there and listen, but please take advantage. There are abundant resources here at Niagara University to help you in your pathway onto a successful life. So thank you very much for your attention today. Thanks for being here. Please engage with our speakers.